then YouTube. Then I have to wait for YouTube to pop up so I can read the chat.
Aha, it's charging. It's going at 2%.
It's at what percent?
24.
Okay, so it is charging. All right, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are live now. Let me go ahead and share this very quickly. Hopefully we do not get disconnected and then have to do a whole new.
YouTube. Then I have to wait for YouTube to pop up. So
Oops.
Yeah, turn that off. I don't mind having a little bit of a pause right now and let people join. All right, let me go share this link in here real quickly. Okay. All right. Okay. So if many of you don't know, if any of you don't know, this is my son, Tommy, Wayne McMurtry the third. Do you have your notifications on? Are they on
Oops.
vibrate?
Yeah. Wait.
Turn it on silent real quick. And we have people here already. Ashley, Shara, Chinello. As you can see, my son's about as professional as I am when it comes to this stuff.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's not very professional. Okay. So this is my son-in-law and his beautiful bride, Jenna.
Son-in-law.
Very much. My son, not my son-in-law. I meant my son and daughter-in-law. There we go. Hi, Mabel. Hi, Chinello. Hi, all of you in the chat. And this is the first time I've had you guys come on, right? Ever?
Yes, ever.
No.
Well, you?
I was on years ago.
Oh, we did. You did what was it, like a kids edition or something?
Yeah.
That would be so funny to pull up. Okay, so that was back when Leslie Romero and I did it. And so she had all her kids and I had you guys on. So that video I pulled, I put all the videos, but I've not deleted any videos. So for any of you that are wondering, yes, I have all videos that I've ever done on this channel. They're just on private. But I would love to pull that up and watch it because you were probably at like a cringe age then. What were you? Were you 16?
Yeah, I think I stood in the back the whole time.
Did you even say anything the whole time?
Probably not, you know.
I'm actually very surprised Tommy agreed to do this. I don't think Jenna had much of a choice, but I'm very, very surprised that Tommy agreed to do it because he has an irrational fear of public speaking, but I guess this isn't really like public speaking, is it?
No, I can't see anybody.
Yes.
Just the three of us.
It's like we're just talking, so he can't see anyone. So I guess that's why. Okay, so I actually had someone leave a comment on my post today saying that they were glad that we were doing this because they were looking for videos on my channel about dating, about teenagers dating. So it comes at a good time. Okay, so early years. Okay, so Tommy, people know about you and your background, so we don't really need to hear about that. Obviously, you're the oldest of 8. Our son, you haven't really been public very much about, I don't know, the life you've kind of kept to yourself. You're on social media a little bit more, but Jenna, no one knows anything about you. So just kind of do a little family introduction, the family that you're from, your background, how you were raised, etc.
Okay, so I am also from a big family. There are 12 of us. I'm the third oldest. I have an older brother and an older sister. So I grew up kind of as the second mom role, pretty much. So that was always fun. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy being the mom sister. I thought that was really fun. We were homeschooled. We moved to Illinois when I was 4. We've been going to the same church ever since. My family's very involved in church. My dad is a Sunday school teacher. My mom is, she's in charge of like children's church, like 2 and 4-year-olds. But we've been very involved in church. So my entire life, it's been bus, soul winning, choir, special music, just everything.
Yeah. Yep. So that's one thing I wanted you to kind of go into because you guys have such a similar background, the way you were raised, you know, even just coming from a large family, which when you marry into the McMurtry family, you find out that I've not made it a secret on the show. Our house is always loud and always chaotic, always. So you were not really like shell shocked I guess when you came around us, because that's kind of what you've been used to. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So, and it was just really neat when we saw God's hand putting you guys together, just how similar your backgrounds were. And even though your dad has never been in ministry, he is one of the most faithful men in your church. And I really am glad that you had that for a role model, growing up. So let's go into the early years. Tommy, I think you were born wanting to get married. Were you not? Talk about
No,
some
yeah.
of your early years when you were a little boy. It was so cute.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to remember my earliest crush. I think it was Daphne from Scooby-Doo. And
Yes.
then it was the girl from like the family band. And then it was like Supergirl. And then it was, I don't know. But yeah, ever since I was like a little kid, I wanted to
Yes.
get married. So unlike Jason, who hated women until he was like 20, but
Yes, exactly. Jason is like your dad. They just need that one special person. Like, but that's kind of good in a way because, I mean, I'm like your dad's favorite person. So I don't have to worry about anything. Um, I remember, do you remember the Scooby-Doo book that we had? I've told this story before where I found the Scooby-Doo book and you were like 5 or 6. You were just learning to write. And over Daphne, you would put, yep,
yeah, I
all
don't
through the
know.
book.
I don't know what that meant, but that book was hard to get too. I actually traded my lightsaber for it for with one of my
What?
friends. One of
I
my
didn't know
friends had the
that.
book and I wanted it. Yeah, Josh. Josh had the
Oh,
book and
that's
I wanted
so
it.
funny.
So I gave him my lightsaber and he gave me the book.
Oh,
It was a
that's
fair.
hilarious.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was a good trade.
Good trade.
I did not know that. And okay, Tommy's a little nervous because his voice is like going in and out. So he's afraid he's going to sound dumb, but that's not normally how he talks. He's literally losing his voice.
Yeah, I'm sick or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not near as bad as it was earlier when I called mom because yeah, earlier it was like cracking like that.
It's not as bad now, but yeah, so we had a rule for you in our home when it came to dating, and I'm going to ask Jenna about your rule when it came to dating. But this is the McMurtry family rule. This is not something that every family, I have to put this disclaimer like every video because supposedly I'm like telling everyone how to live their lives. But this is just guidelines. This is what we did, and it's worked well so far. What was the rule we had for you when it came to women and all that?
Not till I was 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then your dad, he was really good about telling you and Jason as you guys were growing, he wanted you to be hard workers, obviously, and then stay in church your whole life. I mean, what are some ways dad prepared you for relationships, I guess, as you were growing up?
For relationships?
Yeah. Or just like, how did he prepare you
Oh,
for
you mean
eventually
like,
getting a wife?
oh no, yeah, he gave us like a bunch of stuff we had to get done before we could get married, like good job, enough money in the bank. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but yeah, he had a whole bunch of stuff he had wanted us to do before we got to the point where we got married, because he didn't want us dating unless we were ready to get married right then.
Right. Yeah. We've never really felt like, what's the point of being in a relationship if you're not even capable of getting married? Because that's kind of the goal. And I know for you, it's not like you had a ton of relationships before Jenna. You didn't, but your goal was always marriage
Yeah,
going into a
yeah.
relationship.
And
So,
that was one of the first things we talked about when we started talking was like, it was probably only a few weeks into it. And she texted me, was like, just so you know, if you're not like talking to me with like, if you're not serious about this, I don't really want to waste my time with it. And I was like, immediately like, nope, nope. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. So
yeah, I had to like, yeah, you guys weren't even, well, we'll get into it, but you didn't even date that long before you were married.
no.
No.
But I just feel like when you know, you know. So, Jenna, what were some things that your parents told you to look for in a husband, or like, was there anything? I want to pick your brain for a minute as a girl. Was there anything that they wanted you to be prepared for, or they wanted you like goals to accomplish before getting married? I mean, what were kind of the guidelines for that?
They didn't really have any goals for me per se. They were very strict about, you have to be out of high school, in college, 18, any of those. They really wanted me to make sure that I was mentally, emotionally prepared to be married. And basically they wanted me to marry the right person, so not just anybody, like really be serious about it and make sure I was marrying someone who would be a provider and like be able to take care of me. Which is something a good example that my dad had set growing up.
Your dad was very I remember when Tommy called him, and we'll kind of get into the phone call, but he was very, very serious about him not being some video game loser that wouldn't work to provide for you. And, you know, so far, Tommy, you're doing great. And you just got this new welding job. So things are
not bankrupt yet.
Not bankrupt yet. No. So, okay, we already kind of went over that. Okay, so finding a wife. Obviously, you were 19, 20. How old were you when you went to college, when you decided to go to college?
I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 when I started.
So your dad kind of wanted you. We're not, both of us, I don't know, kind of talk about the Bible college thing, I guess.
What?
I mean, kind of talk about our mindset with Bible college. We're not like against it, but we're not like one of these parents that are like, you have to go.
Yeah, and especially since I don't really have any plans of being in full-time ministry or anything either. There really wasn't a reason for me to go for a whole 4 years and get a degree that I wasn't going to use for anything. So I pretty much went with the goal of finding a woman or a wife. And then, but Dad said, you know, make sure, Dad wanted me to make sure I finished trade school first and had a certain amount of money saved up before I went. So I finished trade school, got the money saved up, and then I went. I'm glad I had that money saved up too, because it vanished once I got to Bible college.
Yes, it did. And you, okay, tell us the story. I know a lot of people have read about it on your tie the knot thing that you did or whatever, that story. But the story of meeting Jenna. So you pretty much had like, I remember when you first went there, it was within, because we texted all the time. We were texting the whole time you were there, and, you know, about prospects or whatever. And you said, Mom, don't worry. If there's no one here, I'm friends with a guy who has a lot of sisters.
Yeah.
That.
So I became friends with her brother. And then at the time, another one of our friends was actually dating Jenna. Well, not dating. They were talking. They were never official. So,
yeah,
but,
say that.
So the first time I ever saw Jenna, it was when she went on an activity with, one of my friends. And I remember thinking, oh, that lucky dog. Why did he get set up with her? Well, then a few weeks later, he broke up with her. And then, her brother asked me if I wanted to go on like a blind date down at another Bible college, because his girlfriend was going there at the time. And so they were going to try to set me up with this girl. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try that. So the night before we were supposed to go leave for that college, I saw my friend, or I saw her brother, I can't talk. I saw her mom and her show up, and I was like, oh man, I really hope she's coming with on the trip. That would be cool. And then sure enough, the next morning I walk into the foyer to leave with her brother, and she was sitting there, and then I realized she was coming with too. So I immediately got excited, even though I was supposed to be going and seeing this other girl, at the other college. So then we kind of talked a little bit on the 6-hour drive down there. And then I went on like the blind date with the girl, and it went fine or whatever, but I didn't really care at this point. And then like, it was funny because even after the college activity down there, we all went out to eat at IHOP, and she was there. And I was technically on this date with this other girl, but I think I talked to Jenna more than I did the other girl. And meanwhile, another guy was talking to the girl I was supposed to be with more. So yeah, that was funny. But so by the time the night was over, I'd already decided I didn't really like the other girl. I liked her. So then I kind of flirted with her on the way back. I can't talk. I kind of flirted with Jenna on the way back to the college. And it's funny because her brother told me he had one rule for me, and it was, don't fall in love with my sister. And he said it as a joke. And then after the trip was over, I made a joke to him. I was like, hey, if it doesn't work out with this other girl, I could always date your sister. And I remember he just he got a dead look in his face and just looked at me and went, please don't. And then I immediately got worried. But then I decided 2 days passed and I was like really conflicted on if I should try to text her or not. Because yeah, I didn't really care about the other girl anymore. I just liked her. And so one morning I realized that my watch that I had brought with me, I had lost it. And so I used that as an excuse to text her and be like, hey, I think I left my watch in your van if you could check. And then after that, I just kept the conversation going. And I would text you every day and be like, hey, day 2, she still has, the conversation's still going. And I think I probably did it for like a week where I'd be like, yeah, don't worry, we're still texting.
Yeah.
But the problem was this whole time for like the first 5 days, her brother didn't know. So then 5 days after the trip, he comes into my dorm all sad and comes up to me to tell me that the girl that I went down to meet on the blind date wasn't interested. So he's all sad to tell me this, and he tells me, and I get all excited. I'm like, well, actually, I actually been texting your sister for the past few days. And then he about had an aneurysm, and I thought he was gonna kill me. He didn't punch me. He almost did. Yeah. Yeah, he threatened to break my kneecaps. But so then that Sunday I went down and met her and her family and all that. And then that was when we actually officially I talked to her dad and got his permission to officially talk to her and everything. And then yeah, Alex is still a little bitter about that, but it's okay because now he's talking to my sister, so
Yeah, it all kind of evened out, right?
yeah, exactly.
So,
I backstabbed him and he backstabbed me, so it worked out.
yes, definitely. So Jenna, what were your when did you kind of realize that you might have a crush on Tommy?
Probably. Okay. So I feel like it was too early to say, but we were driving down to Commonwealth and him and Alex were in the back seat and they were, Alex was being his usual goofy self
Right.
and Tommy was not. And I was just like, oh my goodness, it is a Bible college boy and he is not obnoxious and annoying and he can carry on a conversation with my mom. And this is so cool. I've never seen this before. And that was when I was kind of like, maybe I don't want him to go on a date with this other girl. Maybe he should not do that. So.
I mean, that's another thing. By the time we got there and I was supposed to go on the date, I was legitimately sad because then she was leaving and I was all upset. I was like, well, dang it. And now I have to go on the date with this girl. So yeah, even before I got on the date, after the 6-hour drive, I was already liking Jenna.
I remember that. Yep,
Yeah.
I remember that. And then
she really sabotaged it.
yeah. But one of the reasons that, well, first of all, Tommy's always been an old soul. He has been. Did you ever go through a phase? You're the oldest of 8. So you've always been a little bit more responsible. Did you ever go through an immature stage? I don't know.
No, never. No, I will say, no, I'm not gonna lie. Going to Bible college made me way more mature. The year I decreased in my maturity when I went to college, and then after I left, it got better. But yeah, I think being at college around a bunch of other people my age that were immature made me a lot less mature. But then I left and it got better. So
yeah, it had to get better. You had to grow up.
yeah.
That's funny. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you were 20 when you went. So it wasn't like you were an 18-year-old freshman,
No.
And we will say too, Jenna is 2 years older than you.
Yeah.
So
she robbed the cradle.
She did. But I feel like it's just because most you're older than your years, So even though what are you, 22?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you're 22 now, you were 20 when you went, you still acted older than guys your age, I guess. So tell me about the phone call to her dad. What did her dad say and kind of what was the process he wanted you to follow?
I don't remember the phone call to a T. I remember he basically asked me questions do I believe like, the fundamental doctrines, like KJV only, once saved, always saved, like stuff like that. And then, am I dating just for fun or am I dating to marry? And then after he asked those, then he basically just laid it out like um in phases of like he said like starting out you're just in like the talking phase, and then once after a while, then after you get my permission, then you can ask her to be your girlfriend, and that's when it's more serious. And but he said like in the talking stage you can end it whenever you want, she can end it whenever you want, no hard feelings. But then once you get to the boyfriend girlfriend stage, then it's a little more serious. And then after that, then I have to check with him again, and then I could propose, and then we get married. But it was pretty simple, but yeah, that was kind of how he broke it down for me.
I really appreciated the fact, though, because you were our first one to really get into a more serious relationship. I really appreciated he had he done this before with any of you guys? Or were you were kind of the first one, right? Because Samantha,
Tyler and Jeremy were both married before me.
That's right.
But
Jeremy,
those were the boys. So he had never
they're
had
both
like
boys.
a girl date before.
And we hadn't since Abby, but I appreciated your dad's guidelines that he put forth, because we like learning from people that have done it before too and have done it the right way. So I liked that he did those guidelines, and we've kind of basically followed those for the other kids too since. So your dad like set the precedents too for the McMurtry home. We've kind of followed those. But I will say that this was kind of funny. I guess I'll bring this up. You started panicking because Alex has a big mouth and like told your dad that we were different on eschatology. And Tommy was like, oh man, now it's going to be over. But you talked to him and it was all cool.
Well, yeah, I didn't bring it up because my thinking was if I bring it up, that makes it look like I think it's a big deal, which I don't. So I'm just not going to bring it up. But yeah, then Alex, who thought it was a big deal, big mouth. So then he snitched on me. But yeah, then I talked to him and basically told him like, yeah, I believe different on this, but I don't think it's worth fighting over. I don't think it's really a big deal. And kind of explained how I thought about it, and he agreed. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah. And you're currently serving in your church too, and it's not an issue at all either. So it can be done. Everyone out there, just
it's
out there.
not a big deal.
No, it's not. So okay, so the time frames. Jenna, can you go over the time frames kind of how everything happened? So you started talking in December, correct?
Yes, we started talking early December. You asked me to be your girlfriend early January.
Wow.
I don't know the dates exactly. Early January. He told me he loved me in February. Like end of February. We got engaged in May, and then we got married in August. So there was like 9 months.
But I will say the first time we ever met you, we met halfway between here and wherever at a Mexican restaurant. And it was so funny for me as a mom seeing a girl flirt with my son. That was funny. But you were just all about it. You were flirting with him.
It was weird for me too. It never happened before.
Weird for you too. But you were like flirting with him, and we left and we both looked at each other. We got in the car and we were both like, zero red flags. Like, she is perfect for him. And I just remember I'm texting you and I'm like, do not mess this up. Because I could tell like she was so perfect for you. Abigail said, if it isn't my favorite person ever, Jenna, throw your brother under the bus. But yes,
clearly.
Yes. Abby loves Jenna. But yeah, I just remember thinking, you better not mess this up. And I kept telling Tommy, like, you better not mess this up. This is perfect. She's perfect for you. As a mom, you just know. So what were some hurdles to overcome before you got married? I mean, looking back, I don't think it was that big of a deal. But Tommy, in your mind, was there anything?
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, really all the way up until now, our relationship has been scarily smooth. So like, I don't know, I can't think of anything really.
Nothing's happened.
No, the thing we actually got worried, only hurdle we had was we kept getting worried that we didn't fight, because we were like, well, what's going to happen when we finally do fight? Because, because we never did. So we were like,
there's nothing to fight about.
Well, yeah, we got nervous at how we never fought, because we were like, everybody fights. So,
right.
Yeah.
We just get along too well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And even still, I mean, yeah, obviously we'll like get in an argument every now and then, but we don't really fight at all.
Yeah.
You were told a few months ago you were lucky that you've never had to hit Jenna.
Yeah.
Oh
a guy from Faith Forward told me I was lucky that my wife wasn't crazy and I didn't have to hit her.
Man, I'm glad too.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm glad she's not crazy. I mean,
I'm glad I'm not crazy
I wouldn't hit her regardless, but
oh my goodness. We're glad you're not crazy too, Jenna.
I'm so glad.
You never truly know someone till you get married, but I don't know.
I just remember one hurdle.
Oh, okay.
There's been one big hurdle in our marriage, and it's that dog we got.
Oh my goodness.
We shouldn't have got a dog.
That's your fault.
There you go. That is our.
That was the biggest mistake. That was the biggest mistake we made.
Don't get a dog after getting married.
Getting a German Shepherd was a mistake. So
well, and Shaysa watches this channel, and she's probably going to hear you say that. So now she's going to tell Thane.
Getting a German Shepherd was fantastic. She behaves so well.
We love her so much.
Okay, here's the thing. I actually do love the dog. Jenna does not.
I'm not a fan.
But I will say the dog stresses me out most of the time.
Yes, she does, Tommy.
Just has zero chill.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that German Shepherds get better as they get older, and they are great guard dogs, but
she has got a lot better in the past couple months.
Yeah.
But no, it was a big hurdle at first because at first we had no idea what we were doing, and she just bark all night.
That's kind of not a hurdle though, because that's a choice you made to get a dog.
Yeah, that's fair. It was the one.
It was our one big mistake.
Well,
big mistake.
No, now I like her. But yeah, Jenna though.
Oh, stop it.
Jenna and the dog have, and the cat usually has beef with me, but Jenna and the cat get along really well, and me and the dog get along well. So
so you like your cat too, though.
Yeah,
you like your cat.
Okay.
Okay, so purity during dating. Let's talk about this because obviously one of our goals, and I know this is true for you too, Jenna, because you know your parents and us, they kind of have some of the same goals for our kids. I remember your mom Debbie telling me about like your dad has is it all of you guys or just the boys like actually write up doctrinal statements of what you believe?
I think it was just the boys. They had a whole like man test that he did with them.
Was that when they turned 16 or 18?
I don't know.
I think it's when they turn 16 or 18, he has them do a man test. He calls it
a man test. That's awesome. But they have a lot of the same values, and they're raising you guys the same way that we're raising our kids. And one of the things that's really important to all of us is purity during dating. So what were some boundaries that you guys put into your life just to ensure that, you know, things remained pure during a relationship?
Well, we always had a chaperone with us anytime we were together. So that eliminated pretty much any temptation there. And her siblings were good chaperones too. They never left us alone.
Never.
And then, I mean,
that's the benefits of being from huge families. And your mom just said 18. When they turn 18, they have to do the man test.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mom.
And then,
has Joe not done it yet?
No, probably not. He's not 18 yet.
Oh, that's funny. And then Dad said, we better not get any new revelations I won't approve of. I can still bring out the cord.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Well, he's gonna have to drive 3 hours, but
yeah. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, both families have a ton of siblings. So that's going to help. And I would say the majority, when you're the guy, the majority is the guy going to the girls. So Tommy, you were like kind of around Jenna's family a lot during that stage. And so then they were able to get to know you a little bit better, weren't they?
Yeah.
So always having a chaperone. And when was your guys' first kiss even?
At the wedding. At the wedding.
Even though it didn't look like it.
I was going to say there's controversy about that. But
I would just like to clarify. I would like to clarify because some haters like Miss Heidi have claimed that we practice. But that was only Jenna sent me TikToks explaining what to do. And
that's hilarious.
She said, just put your hands on my hips and turn your head to the right, and then I'll do the rest. And so that's what I did. And then she grabbed my face. So
We
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we had a cute first kiss.
She was
I was not going to have
Jenna was very
one.
paranoid about having a bad one. So
but it worked out, and now everyone thinks we practiced.
So yeah, to all the haters that say we practiced,
we did.
We did
I
it.
swear.
That was our first one.
It was.
It's so funny because who would even know that such a video would exist, right? Who would know that a video would exist, like how to have your first kiss?
It was like other people. It was like their first kiss or at their kiss at the altar. And I was like, oh, this one looks good. We'll just do this. And then we just copied them and it worked out really well. So
it did. It was a very nice first kiss. And I don't think anyone will fully understand like the Baptist mentality. When you have your first kiss, it's kind of daunting because it's in front of like 300 people, and it's forever recorded and it's forever on video and photography. And, your dad and I didn't have things like that. I'm sorry. When we had our first kiss after we got married, I've heard people say that, people make it up. No one does it this way anymore. But obviously there are a lot of Baptist families because Jenna, wouldn't you say even the girls that you've known growing up, the majority of them are pure on their wedding day. And most of them, if not, 90% of them save their first kiss for their wedding day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are still Baptist families that are doing it. It's not impossible. So yeah, you guys always, obviously though, I do want to talk about on the things that we trusted you guys when it came in, because you're adults. You're like 20 and 22 at this point, right? So you both chose to have accountability in your life, but were we overbearing when it came to, did we read your text messages? Did we listen to your phone call?
No. I mean, we would have let you guys, but you never did, really.
No, because, and I've always said too, I have parents asking me like, well, how can I trust my kids? Like I have to read their stuff or they're doing this, they're sneaking behind my back. But with us, we tried to raise you in a way where you would just choose to do right. Because I found out early on that if a kid wants to be deceitful and get away with stuff, they will, So it was more with you guys. We were trying to instill those principles in your life. So you just wouldn't do it, So you wouldn't. Oh, yeah. And Amanda said the dip Tommy did as you two walked out.
Well,
it was adorable.
Was she at the wedding?
No, she saw the video, I think.
Okay. Well, she definitely didn't see the second dip because I did a first dip and I nailed it. And then we walked further down and they said to do it again. And I tried again, but that time I stepped on the veil. So when she went to go back up, she almost wiped out. So
that one didn't go very well. But the first one was cute.
The first one probably made the videos for sure. Do you think that there's a lot of talk nowadays, mainly from like Eric Swazornski? How do you say his name? Eric,
the recovering fundamentalist guy.
Yeah, the Preacher Boys guy. Eric Swazornski. I don't know. But there's a lot of talk from him about how purity culture is toxic. And would you consider, obviously, I'm putting you on the spot, but would you consider what you guys did toxic? Do you have any regrets?
No, I'm really glad we did it the way we did it. And I feel like it adds a lot of trust. Since we did it the way we did it, I'm not like constantly looking at Jenna's phone when she's asleep, thinking she's cheating on me or something. Anytime she calls Pizza Hut, I don't get nervous. I'm glad we did it the way we did it because I feel like it added us a lot of trust to our marriage.
It does. And Dad always said that to you guys. This is the training ground. Like if you can learn to, because your entire life you're going to have hormones and you're going to have temptation. And if you can learn to resist that while you're in this dating season, then that's going to prove to each other that during times in your marriage, Jenna has a baby and is recovering, or, there's going to be dry seasons. You can learn to possess your vessel during those times, as well. So, Jenna, do you have any regrets for saving everything for each other?
No regrets.
Yeah. Dad calls it prison dating. is what he calls it, because you have so much accountability.
So one of the best feelings ever was not even the first kiss. I think the better feeling was after we left and we actually got to drive with just us in the car for the first time. And we didn't have like one of her little siblings or one of mine in the back yapping our ear off. So that was one of the best feelings about the wedding day, was finally being in a car alone.
Yep.
It was stressful. I kept thinking someone was gonna pop
Yeah,
up and
the
get us in
whole
trouble for
honeymoon, we
something.
kept talking about how
Like-
we thought we were gonna get in trouble.
Like we're walking around holding hands, waiting for someone to jump out.
I will say it was an adjustment because it kept feeling like we were breaking rules after the wedding.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that Eric has, because you're taught to have these boundaries in place and these guidelines in place. So once you get married, you feel like you're committing a sin, right? But you're not, because you're married.
That was the thing. It almost felt like that, but we just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Like we didn't like get upset about it.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's a victim nowadays, so that's why. And your mom said, you miss Zane that day.
That is true. Zane is the only person I don't mind yapping my ear off. He educates me on the gold standard.
That's hilarious. So would you guys do it that way again?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing too. I mean, your dad and I did it that way. It was, I know what you're talking about, because the first time we drove away from the reception when we were, driving to our honeymoon or whatever, it was the weirdest feeling, just being in the car alone, because we both had younger siblings too that were around. Lori and Carrie and Bethany were all around us, and they were annoying little 10, 11, 12-year-olds. So that was really weird. But I always think it was very special on our honeymoon that we both got to figure everything out together, and that had never been with another person. So there's something very special about that, figuring everything out together and having your first. So all these guys that are going to the Philippines to get wives because they say there's no American women that are doing things the right way, I beg to differ. I know of lots that are doing things the right way. So
they are losers and they have no riz.
They have no riz.
That's how you really feel.
They are losers and they have no riz. Okay. So the first year, adjustment to marriage. What was the biggest adjustment for either of you?
Both. She hogs the blankets.
Okay. So do you. So I won't take all the slander.
No.
The slander.
She thinks the house needs to be like the Sahara, where I like it being like the Arctic. I like it where it's so cold I can wear a hoodie. But if I let her control the temperature, it's like I'll wake up
68.
I'll wake up drenched in sweat. So
he hates on me no matter what I do. I like the fan on when I sleep, and he gets mad because he's like, oh my gosh, it's so cold in here, Jenna. Why do you have to have the fan on? And then I turn the heat on because you're complaining that I have the fan on, and you complain about that too.
Oh, so yeah, that was the biggest adjustment, was the sleeping conditions. Traveling
together. That was a huge adjustment because I am used to my family traveling, and you are not the same.
No, Tippett's and McMurtry's are not the same with traveling.
No.
And he found that out when Alex went with him on a trip too.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, when
we have learned.
When
are you going to slander Alex now?
No, when Tippets get tired, it's best to just leave them alone, because
let me take a nap.
I learned very quick when we got married that on like our trips, I don't sleep like at all, but I have to let her sleep, otherwise I'm in the doghouse. So, and
your
brother. If I take her brother on a trip, if I don't let him sleep, I'll be in the doghouse with him too. So they need their sleep.
Your mom just called it Death March vacations, and that very much describes a McMurtry vacation.
It does. It does.
I mean, when we were
like one activity a day and then rest, and maybe another one. No, you guys, it's like go.
It's nonstop, and then you function on like 5 hours of sleep, if that.
I can't do that. I don't. Yeah.
That's a McMurtry.
On trips, we're lucky to get 5. Like when we were in Colorado, I was waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and being like, "Oh, we got to go do all this stuff." And the first day there, I did that, and then we realized, "Oh, stink, nothing's open yet." So, but this was after we had already got up and got ready, and we're like about to walk out the door. So then we sat there and watched a movie for 2 hours, and then went out.
We were about to walk out the door, and it was still dark out. That's how early it was.
That's not surprising. When we were in Hawaii and we got the roach car rental where the roaches were dropping out of the ceiling, Dad would not take the time to go return it because that would take too much time because we had too much to see because we were up at the top of the island and it was like an hour and a half from the car rental place and we didn't discover the roaches until we were up at the Airbnb at the top. So you know how your dad is. He's like, no, we can't take the time. If they can meet us with another car and swap it, then we will. So then I called, we're like hiking at the Volcano National Park and I'm on the phone with this representative from the rental car place. And I'm like, can you please just swap us a vehicle? And they're like, no, because it's not broken down. You just have roaches crawling on you. So they wouldn't swap with us. So we never returned it. So we just bombed the car. And by the last day, I got rid of most of the roaches and we got all our money back for it. So at least that worked out. But I wouldn't
have even taken time to bomb the car. That would have been too much of a waste.
That's true. He would have just let the roaches crawl on you, Jenna.
What I always tell Jenna is I didn't travel all this way to not do everything. So to not do anything.
Yeah.
I'll be like, and then anytime I need to justify spending a bunch of money on doing something on a trip, I'll be like, when are we ever going to do this again? We're never coming back to here. So we have to do it.
And he's taking you on a lot of adventures, like your jet ski adventure, right?
Jet ski adventure.
Yeah, that was probably the worst adventure. So
that was a test of our marriage.
Yeah, that was the biggest hurdle we've ever had to overcome.
That was the big hurdle.
Oh my word.
So excited for those jet skis. And
oh my goodness.
Jenna was not. And it was like it slowly hit her as we walked out and she saw the big waves.
Yeah.
And then I think the time that she almost snapped was I was like, all right, I'm going to test and see how fast this thing goes. And the second I hit 40 miles an hour, I hit a huge wave and we went like way airborne and both of us like flew like this high off the jet ski and we smacked into the ground and she was still like threatening to jump off and swim back. But she was too scared to do that.
I didn't want to swim in Lake Michigan.
So then I had to go slow the rest of the time. And I think it ruined the rest of the evening. No. I went and got her Raising Cane's after that.
So it was okay.
It was okay. But
because with Jenna, if you give her chicken tenders or her chicken fingers,
then I'm
she's happy. Mm-hmm.
Feed me and I'm happy.
Anytime we go back to Chicago now, if I even make a joke about the jet skis, about doing them again, she just gets mad. She's like, it's not even funny. We're not doing it again.
Funny. I will never do that again.
I'm with you, Jenna. I don't. Okay, so when we went like what is that called, snorkeling in Hawaii, your dad kept making fun of me because I was literally, it was me and one other Chinese girl there. We were the only ones in life jackets, but I didn't care because I was not gonna go swimming out in this huge body of water in the ocean without a life jacket on.
Absolutely.
That's how I am.
When we went snorkeling in Hawaii, she had a life jacket. And then they gave her a buoy, a handheld buoy.
Oh, that's funny.
She had to hold on to me the entire time too.
It's scary. Waiting for the ocean to carry me away. I was like, we're not going anywhere. Yeah. Oh, it was awful. I almost didn't leave the little raft thingy they took you out to like practice on. Mm-hmm. I thought about staying there the whole time.
And then when we went out, when we went out west, and we were at Grand Teton, I really wanted to go hiking. And she was convinced we were going to get mauled by a bear. Yes. And I was like, Jenna, it's fine. There's no bears out here. It's fine. And then we get out onto the trail. And the first thing you see is this big sign saying, watch for bears, like bring bear spray, this.
What do we not have? Any of that stuff?
The whole hike, she was just mad. Mm-hmm. And then it got even worse when I walked down this huge hill and there's two moose at the bottom of it.
Oh, yes.
And so I was geeking out and I'm like taking pictures of the moose and I thought she was right behind me. I turn around and she's like half a mile up this hill and refusing to come down. So we get through all that and then we're driving down the road and there's a bunch of bison on the side of the road. So we're walking to go take pictures of them and then they all jump over the fence and start running across the road. And I start geeking out again. And I'm like probably 30, 40 feet away from them. And I think she's right behind me. I turn around. Nope, she's way down the road again. I don't know how she's so fast, but yeah.
That is one thing you will learn about me. I do not like wildlife.
She's terrified of wildlife, water,
Water, like deep water.
I'm scared of water. So, I mean, I'm with her. I'm with her on that. So you obviously had to learn that there are differences when it comes to different personalities, right? And being a McMurtry, we're a little bit more adventurous. Tommy, especially you like the thrill of things. And Jenna, I feel, has been a good sport when it comes to
Oh
this.
yeah, no, Jenna is a very good sport.
Yes.
She will try almost anything. She'll try at least once.
I'll try it once, and if I don't like it, I'm not doing it again.
The jet skis.
Yes.
If she doesn't,
Yes.
And she'll even put up with me on our trips that we do, as long as I let her sleep.
Yep.
And I let her take as many coffee stops as she wants.
You feed
Mm-hmm.
me.
Feed her. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
As long as I keep her fed,
Yes.
give her coffee and let her sleep, she doesn't care.
Fed, well rested, and caffeinated.
But she also has to have her crochet stuff with her.
Yes. I
Yes.
need to be occupied the whole time, or else I will get bored.
Yep, she's got her crochet stuff with her. So I think she's been a good sport. I think you guys have melded. So let's talk about the family thing, because I don't even have these in the notes, but I know it's very different as I'm finding as a mom. This is one thing that threw me. No one ever told me this when it came to getting in-laws in your family, just how much the dynamic changes even with your siblings. Okay. And like your siblings kind of becoming close to the new one that's in the family. Like it changes the whole family dynamic as we're growing. And I'm finding this out with the more and more relationships that my kids get into. So obviously the girls, my girls, you guys primarily got really close after marriage, correct? Because they didn't know you very well. You guys had a short dating.
Yeah.
Obviously they weren't like mean to you, but it takes my girls a little bit of time to warm up to new ones coming into the family. So can you kind of just, and then Tommy, how did it go with melding into a new family on your end too? So what am I asking? So Jenna, what was it like coming into a new family? And can you kind of just describe the last year? I feel it's really since marriage. I feel like you've gotten to know us better. We've gotten to know you better and all of that. So what is it like coming into a new family? I guess, what are the fears? What are the,
It's different. I definitely think that the fact that I had so many siblings definitely helped.
Yeah.
The fact that I already had been around all these different people in my life. So it was just a whole new group of sisters, in my opinion, which I found very exciting because I grew up with 4 sisters and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed my sisters. And then I got like 6 more and I was like, wow, this is so great. Just more of them. So, over the past year, I definitely think me and Abby and Chloe have definitely got a lot closer, but I think that's just because we're the closest in age. I feel like Lana is not the biggest fan of me because I stole her brother.
Yeah. She's got a little bit of beef.
Yeah, she's not a big fan of me at the moment, but I'm sure she will grow and she will get over it and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking at first. I remember you guys came and visited. I think I met everyone at the youth conference for the first time, and it was a little scary because it was like so many people all at once.
Yeah.
And I think I'd met a few of them here and there, but terrifying. That's how I would describe it at first. Terrifying.
And you're such a sweetheart. You had nothing to fear. Like I loved you from day one.
Just an introvert. So. I have a hard time. Like I feel awkward talking to people. So it's just like, I got to get out there and then I'm fine. So.
Yeah, Chanello said maybe it's because I haven't seen Jenna's family, but I think Jenna actually looks like a McMurtry. She could pass for a sister. I've thought the same thing too.
Yeah,
wait, that's a little weird.
Tommy's like, wait a minute. I think my wife is beautiful. Why are you comparing her to my sister?
This is in Alabama. I don't think she looks like my sisters at all.
That's so funny. But yeah, Tommy, how was it for you? I think it was pretty easy for you, wasn't it?
No, it was easy for me. The only one I was the hardest part was learning all of their names because there was 10 of them.
Yes.
But the only one I was nervous about was her oldest brother, Tyler, because he wasn't a big fan of me at first. But now we're besties and we send each other reels like every day. So yeah, it worked out eventually.
Why wasn't he a fan of you at first? I've never heard this.
Honestly, I don't know why. I think he's just overprotective.
Yeah.
Because he's the oldest.
I think he's a lot like me when any of the girls start talking a guy.
Yes. And so, automatically.
It was just a taste of my own medicine.
So standoffish at first.
I mean, have you even completely accepted the fact that Alex is talking to Abby?
Have you?
Yeah, unless I see them doing it, then it gets a little weird.
It is a little weird when you see them together. It's like, this is crossover episode. What's going on?
Yeah, I did.
Really
I did call Serafina redheaded girl for a
You
while
did.
because, well, it doesn't help that. So they all have names, but they all have a nickname for them too. So
Yes.
Tyler's Tyler, Alex is Alex, Jeremy's the golden child, but that's what me and Alex call him. And then, and the Samantha, but then it's like there's Josiah, they call him Joe. Katerina, they call her Bean. Serafina, they call her Peppy. Zechariah, they call him Zeki. So it was like it wasn't even just learning their names; it was also learning their nicknames too. So yeah, it took a while.
Well, it's a fun fact because part of the process of like getting from dating to the altar is you do meet the family and like get to know the family. And it's so funny because we just love the Tippets. And so we're like, hey, like we have alternating kids like every age down for a while. We're like, let's just eliminate the whole dating other people thing and we'll just like marry off and then we can go live on a compound or a commune and then we'll have Thanksgivings together and Christmases together and that would be really cool, but I don't know if it's going to work out past
I think so.
the next couple. Yeah, I don't know if there's any interest.
I would just like to say one of my favorite parts about getting to know their family was meeting Zane. What is
your thing with Zane?
I go to him for all of my advice. So
oh my word,
Zane is the best Tippet.
He's just an odd duck.
He's the best Tippet over Jenna. I guess Jenna's not a Tippet
anymore.
She's a McMurtry now. Okay, nice. Nice. Okay, so Zane's your favorite. I wish we had a picture of a Zane to pull up so we could see Zane. Zane is kind of like the little Abby likes him too because he's just kind of like he drops truth bombs and he doesn't care what you think.
He just says
no. The thing about my favorite thing about Zane is you never know what he's gonna say.
Yes.
So that's what I love about him.
And how old is Zane?
He's 10 or 11.
So he's Lana's age.
I had to think about it. In my brain, he was 8, and I know he wasn't 8.
So he's Lana's age. But yeah, I think Lana. Now Kelly and Hannah love you, Jenna, even though you did take Tommy from Kelly too.
I did, yes.
Well, Hannah's not exactly a big fan.
Hannah goes back and forth. I spanked her once when she was at my house.
Her. Yes.
So sometimes she's like, "No, you're mean," and then other times she's like, "Jenna, your makeup looks really pretty." I'm like, "Thank you, Hannah."
To be fair, she had the spanking coming. She broke a light.
She deserved it.
She broke a glass thing.
She threw a nightlight and she bit Kelly, so she did deserve that one.
I forgot about her biting stage. She has not bit for months. Now that I say that, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, maybe you solved the problem. Maybe you fixed it.
I spanked her, and that's what did it. She's like, "Oh,
you fixed
didn't do that anymore."
That's hilarious.
You're welcome, everyone.
No more bites from Hannah because Jenna fixed her. So what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say, Tommy?
I would just like to say that Josiah Tippett is 17, almost 18, and he's the most eligible bachelor I know. So if any moms watching this have any single daughters, Josiah Tippett is a catch.
Yeah, they go to First Baptist Church in Clinton, Illinois, for any of you. Yes. Yeah. Definitely. But no, I think it's hard for girls when another girl comes and kind of steals the attention, because Tommy did, was Samantha accepting of you at first?
What?
Was Samantha accepting of you at first?
I don't know.
You don't even know?
She was kind of weird. Like she wasn't
I feel like she was iffy.
She wasn't like, "Oh, he's the best thing ever," but at the same time, she was just kind of like, "I don't care."
Zane.
Oh. There's Zane. Nice. There's Zane.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes. He's shy.
Since you did a plug for Joe, you have to show a picture of him too.
Oh, okay.
And your mom said he owns a house already. Yes, that is the youngest Tippet to buy a house.
Joe is more financially stable than I am. He's literally everything. 17. Joe is everything I wish I could be.
Hold on.
Joe is 17. No, the Tippets are a great family. They're an example of a family who loves the Lord and loves each other and loves their church. And they've been in the same church for 20 years or something. A long time.
No.
It's a bad picture.
You got to get a good picture of Joe.
If they want to see what he looks like, they just need to come and visit. So.
Oh, okay. Come and visit. You can see Joe.
Yeah,
Your mom
your
said she was
your-
dating Isaac, so she was in her own little world.
That's very true
Yes.
because her and Isaac started talking right around the same time, and so
Mhm.
she kind of went off into Isaac land after that.
Yes, that's very true.
And her and Isaac are now married. So
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Jenna's
They got
sister is now
married
married.
right around our anniversary.
Yes, they did. I remember that.
How many
So
feels about that?
Oh. 3 days before they got married, 3 days before our wedding anniversary. It ruined all my anniversary trip plans.
yes, I had to hear all the complaining. I was like, you know what? Just that's going to happen sometimes. So yeah. So when it comes to having future kids, which you're open for that whenever, we're praying for that. Are you going to raise your kids the same way you guys were raised? That's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Jenna's like, yeah, we are.
I was like,
Well, yeah,
why
I
are
was,
you
I was
pausing?
I was trying to think of something funny to say, like, yeah, but I'll actually, let them get McDonald's or something like that.
Oh.
I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. No, yeah, obviously I'll raise them
Yes,
the same way.
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
But
we
I'll let
all,
them watch SpongeBob.
oh, yes, we did not
Yeah.
like to watch SpongeBob.
That's the one thing I'll change. Yeah.
Ooh, I
If
think
that
my
is
mom
your,
said that.
if that is your only complaint that we didn't let you watch SpongeBob, I will take it.
You didn't let us watch SpongeBob or Chicken Little.
Handsome
And
picture.
what's the story behind Chicken Little, Tommy? Why did we not let you watch Chicken Little? Hmm?
So there's a song on there that I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to get banned again. That me and Jason would sing all the time, and Dad said if we sing it one more time, that we can't watch it ever again. And then I thought it'd be funny, and I sang it again, and they banned us. And I kid you not, we went like 8 or 10 years without watching it.
It
We
was
were
a
like teenagers.
long time.
We were teenagers by the time we watched it again, and then we felt guilty and told you guys, and you guys just thought it was funny. You forgot about it. Also, I have a picture of Joe now. Don't worry.
There's Joe.
Owns a house. He has like 2 jobs.
He
He's
is a
financially
cutie.
stable.
Yeah, he is like, the tidbits are interesting. You guys all have you guys aren't cookie cutter kids. You know what I mean? Like you all have your own unique look. You know what I mean? Like you and Samantha resemble
No,
each other.
none
us
of
look
them
the
look
same.
like siblings.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You all have a very unique look. And then Bean, she's in college right now, Bible college, and she has just super curly hair.
Yes.
Like
yes.
super, super killer. You have a couple redheads, pure redheads, which I joke all the time. Tommy McMurtry, the 4th, is probably going to be a redhead.
Crossed, maybe.
Yes, probably going to be a redhead, which is going to be hilarious because your dad's
Right.
always joked about redheaded stepchildren.
True. Speaking of redheads, Peppy's gonna be mad if I don't give her a shout out. She is phenomenal at violin, almost
She
as good
is.
as Chloe Chua. And if you don't know who that is, just get cultured, okay?
Yeah.
So I thought I'd throw that in there too.
Yeah, she is very, very good at violin. She's very invested in it for sure. What has been the best thing with marriage, Tommy? I know what it's been for you, but what has been the best thing as far as marriage? You were a lonely little boy. You were lonely.
Yeah.
And you always wanted your person.
Aw.
So
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel lonely anymore. I can actually force somebody to go bowling with me. See that? I will say, Jenna hates bowling, but she still goes with me because I used to go bowling by myself all the time when I was single.
mhm.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite part about marriage is having somebody to drag along with me now. Because you guys, I always wanted to travel, but you guys always said I can't go gallivanting around the world by myself. So now that I'm married, I have somebody to pull along with me, and so now I can gallivant around the world with her, and it makes it a lot more fun. So
Yeah.
We put the traveling bug in you. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Because your dad and I both love traveling too. Jenna, what's been your favorite part of marriage?
I feel very I don't know how to say this. I feel like growing up I've wanted to be married since I was like 13. So not quite as long as Tommy, but I'm content. I have my person. I'm very happy. This is what I've wanted for a very long time. So I enjoy just being around you, spending time with you. We go places and it's really fun. Yeah.
I remember when it was like a week or so before you got married, and your mom was like, weddings. Actually, there was very little drama with your guys' wedding. We didn't even talk much about the wedding, but there was very little drama about your wedding. But I remember your mom was just like, I'm ready for the wedding. And then just for Jen, she's like, I'm going to miss her, but I'm so happy that she's like starting this new phase of her life, you know? So she was all about that. And then Chanela was wondering if you could talk a little bit, Jenna, about your life as a single lady before marriage, you know, college, because you didn't just, and this is one thing I loved about your family too, because you lived at home until you married Tommy, because we do believe in, you know, the girl going from, this is how the best situation is a girl goes from her dad's house to her husband, right?
Yeah.
So you lived at home, but what were some things you did as a single lady, because you were 22 before you got married? So you didn't just sit around on your phone all day. What were some things that you did?
So even starting out, like when I was in high school, I took a gap year. So I didn't go to college right away. I went to the community college in my town and I did a CNA class just so I would have some kind of degree in a way. I did go to college. I went to Hiles-Anderson for a year. I absolutely hated it. I did not go back. What else? I went back to
it was not for you. Bible college was not for you.
I did not enjoy college. I had a couple friends that weren't great friends, and I feel like they just ruined the whole experience for me. So it was just not a good time. I did not enjoy it at all. But I'm happy for everyone else who goes to college and loves it. It was not my thing. I went back home. I went back to school. I took another class for what I do now. I'm a phlebotomist. So basically that's what I did while I was single. I went to school for a while and then I worked. I saved up a lot of money. I bought a house at one point with my brother, which I'm not a part of anymore, which is good. I tried to set myself up financially so that when I was ready to get married, I did have, you know, at least some money to help us. My pastor's wife always made jokes about she got married with $300 in her bank account, and I didn't want to be that person. So
yeah, you were rich when we got married.
I was wealthy.
I think there's a lot of girls who actually do the opposite though, and they get married with a lot of debt. So you got to be careful of that too.
Right.
Especially as a single girl, you do not want to be like racking up all this debt. That's a very bad idea because then your husband gets stuck with it. Tommy got the good end of a deal. He like got a financially stable girl who owned, you know, half of a duplex or whatever with her brother.
Yeah. I know she was like she had everything going for her. I married her for the money.
Yeah.
It looks like.
No,
that's not true, obviously. But yeah.
Good.
Yeah, your mom said you hated being away from home, not necessarily Hiles. Plus, you're an introvert, so you were out of your comfort zone.
I did not like being away from home. I didn't enjoy it. I'm very much a homebody.
She also did not like working at Chick-fil-A, which was her job when she was there.
I also hated Chick-fil-A.
She was just venting to me about that the other day, so she still hasn't let it go.
I don't know why I was venting you about it.
Because they made you stand outside.
Oh, yes, because I was drive-through and I hated being drive-through. It was awful. So
I don't like food industry jobs. I've already told my girls no food industry jobs because you get yelled at. It's stressful. Yeah. No.
Never. Oh my goodness, never.
I like the course that you took. Abby's currently earning her, what is that, CDA, Childhood Development Associates, which I think, and you know, with you've really found your niche. You like doing what you do. And then Abby really likes what she does with the kids. So I think it's just about, you know, staying busy. And you were very involved in you're still very involved in your church from then until now. So, and your whole family's always been super involved. In youth group you were, and you did all the whole Destination Unknown stuff up until you graduated. And so you were very, very involved in that. But let's see. So we kind of went over anything else. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave it in chat. Kelly, Tommy is 22 right now. Jenna's about to be 25, correct? Okay. Yes. Jenna will be 25 on Saturday. So, and then Tommy turns 23 in January. So he got an older woman.
2.5 years.
2.5 years older.
2.5 years. Nothing crazy.
No. So definitely leave comments in the chat really quick because we're going to be wrapping it up. But Tommy, what would be your advice? Well, let me see. Let me ask you this. So when it came to marriage, finding a woman, you kind of had your things that you were looking for. What are some ways that your dad modeled that for you? Like, did you want a marriage like ours? Were you like, no, I don't ever want a marriage like mom and dad? I mean, you
No,
know.
yeah, I wanted a marriage like your guys just because you guys like never really fought or anything. Or never really saw
Um,
you guys fought. So you guys had a really chill marriage. So yeah, obviously I wanted that. But yeah.
yeah, no, you've never seen me kicking holes in walls or
No.
your dad freaking out on me.
Never saw dad have to pull out an electrical cord on you or anything like that.
No, definitely not. So I remember one time dad was talking to someone and a punk that hated me. And he was going on about our marriage. And dad told him, he's like, I have the marriage I want my kids to have. So I'm not going to take advice from you. Like I have the marriage that I want my kids to have. And that's what, as a mom, like there's nothing that brings me greater joy than seeing my kids happy. And Jenna, I can see has made you so happy. So, I love her for that. And it is, the more our family grows, the more love you kind of get because you feel like I don't understand this whole like mother-in-law thing. Like you're taking my baby boy. I've never felt that way with you guys because I knew it was your desire to get married from the time that you were really little. And I knew Jenna brought you that happiness. So because Jenna was making you happy, she makes me happy. And I love her for that. So Jenna, was there anything growing up that you kind of wanted specifically watching your parents?
Growing up, like my dad, okay, let me restart. Growing up, all I wanted to do was to be a mom and to have kids and be at home full time and homeschool my children, all that fun stuff. So that was a big thing growing up, seeing my mom able to do that and seeing the things that my dad did to make that possible. He had his job. He started buying houses when we were really little and he would fix them up and rent them out. So he'd have this extra income and everything just so my mom was able to stay home with all of my siblings. And that's what I wanted. So
Mm-hmm. Very, very sweet. And that's another thing too. Like I said, your guys' upbringings were so similar. And you also, it makes me feel good knowing that you want to raise my grandkids my future grandkids in a similar way. You want all the same things the way that we raised you guys. So yeah, it makes me very happy. Tommy, it's funny because Jenna kind of has a different personality than me in a way, but we're kind of similar in some ways too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like she might be an introvert where I'm an extrovert, but she also I don't know. What are some good traits of Jenna? I guess I'm trying to say.
Tell me.
Yes, tell her.
Well, one of her best traits is she's too nice.
Okay.
She is very nice.
She's
Yes.
so nice. And sometimes I feel so bad because I feel like I'm always the one that's a jerk. And I feel like
not to her. You have to specify.
Well, yeah, not to her. So like anytime like we have an argument, I always feel like it always ends up me being wrong. And I'm like, dang it, could it just be her in the wrong one time? And then I feel like a jerk. So not like I'm being a jerk to her, just like it's just like it feels like anytime we have a disagreement, she for some reason is right. But she's so nice about it too. She doesn't so like and then just like she'll do little things like get me like she'll buy me cosmic brownies from the store because she knows I love those. So just like she's super sweet and sometimes makes me feel bad because I'm like, how did I get so lucky? Because she's so sweet. And so like, and she can't say no either, which I've been working on.
But we're working on that.
I'll be like, I feel bad that you'll like always say yes to me. Like if you want to like, I'll be like, do you want to eat out here? She'll be like, yeah, that's fine. And then we'll go eat out and I'll find out she doesn't really like it. And I'm like, why did you just tell me no?
Happy.
So yeah, that's why I feel like a jerk because I'll do stuff like that. I'll be like, I'll take her out to eat somewhere, find out she hates it, and be like, why didn't you tell me sooner? It's like, well, I didn't want to upset you.
That is one way she's opposite than me. I will just say it. Be like, no, I don't want to go there. Yes, I do want to go here. But for us, that works because your dad's kind of the same way though, too, I think, as you. He's like, just tell me what you want. Like, don't tell me something you don't want,
Yeah.
Just tell me what you want. So, but she is, I don't know.
Plus, I love all of her little hobbies she has.
Okay.
She's so easy to please. All I have to do is be like, I can make her whole day by getting back from work and being like, you want to go to Hobby Lobby and buy yarn? And that'll make her whole day. If I take her to Hobby Lobby, buy her yarn, and take her to Buffalo Wild Wings and let her get orange chicken, and her day is made.
A perfect day.
That's cute.
Nothing
But that just shows though that she's very easy to please. That's a good trait.
Yeah,
as a woman, that's a very, very good trait to have.
Yeah, she's super simple.
Try not to be high maintenance or anything.
Yes, exactly. That can never be pleased by anything you try doing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, very simple relationships. But lastly, Tommy, do you have any profound advice? I know you're a man of such deep, profound wisdom. Do you have any advice for single guys?
Yeah, my advice to single guys is stop being a loser and being too scared to talk to girls. Because that was the number one thing I noticed. That was the number one thing I noticed at college was all the single guys. It wasn't that no girls liked them. It was just they were too scared to actually ever make a move. So they would, and if they did make a move, they'd spend months building the confidence to make the move, and then they'd go from 0 to 100 and go up to a girl they never talked to and like ask her out, and then obviously they'd say no. So yeah, that's always my biggest pet peeve with guys is when they complain about being single, but then they're just petrified or terrified of talking to women. So yeah, that's because my thing was I'm gonna at least try. Like when I went to college, I was like, well, I'm gonna try. That way, I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time wondering if this girl likes me. So I try, and if I got rejected, I got rejected, and I moved on. And I did get rejected in between, like from 18 to 22 until I met her. I got rejected quite a bit, but eventually it worked out. So,
and it was the right one too. So you know,
like
you definitely. You're so funny. Debbie was like, Tommy, with a bunch of laughing faces, but you are your father's son in that regards. Just tell it like it is, you know, just be a man.
What you were going to say too. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And gain some riz, as Jason would say.
Also, don't go asking girls out. You don't even have a license or like a decent job or any money in the bank. Yeah. And also, this is another pet peeve. Don't be fat. If you're a single guy,
it's true.
You're like in your early 20s, you have no excuse to be super out of shape. And I don't feel bad for fat guys that are single. Just go to the gym. It's not that hard to get in shape. And now, obviously, you know, if you have a medical condition or whatever, that's one thing. But yeah, I don't feel bad for single guys that are in their early 20s that are overweight. That's nobody's fault but your own. So yeah,
well, that was kind of Dad's thing with you guys. He was always trying to make you be worthy of a good girl, right?
Yeah. I can't stand because I knew a lot of guys like that at college. They'd be like out of shape, couldn't hold down a job, and just like super emotionally insecure, and they're devastated that they're single. And it's like, well, dude, I wouldn't want to date you either. I don't know what they expect.
What you have going for you.
So it's like, yeah,
right. Yeah, so he was always telling you, you know, you need to be worthy of a girl, and water seeks its own level. So if you're a guy who's a jerk, if you're a guy who's, you know, not serving the Lord, if you're a guy who can't hold down a job and you're playing video games all day, why would you get a great girl? Right. So, all right. Jenna, do you have any advice for single girls? And then someone asked too, really quickly, my oldest is 18 and I still think it's too young to date. Tommy, I really feel like you weren't, like we gave you the green light at 18 to go ahead and date, but I feel like looking back, you were obviously still pretty immature at 18.
No, I don't think I was ready to date at 18, honestly. Because I feel like a lot of times at 18, they're more just like obsessed with the idea of, oh, I'm finally old enough to date. Now I need to get a girlfriend. And that was right too. Yeah. Because it wasn't really who it was. I was more just like, oh, I'm old enough. This girl seems like me. I'm going to talk to her. So, and then, looking back, I'm really glad I didn't get married or anything at 18. Because, that would have been, at the time, I thought I was totally ready. But looking back, no. I think 18 is probably too young.
And I feel like for all of you, so far, you older three, all three of you have been more ready at 20.
Yeah.
Closer to 20. Now, during that 18 to 20 stage, it was a little tough for you sometimes. Remember all our late night talks?
Yeah, I hated being single during that time. It sucked. Go on, lie.
Yeah.
But now obviously I'm glad it all happened the way it did.
I remember when you finally got married and you told your dad and I, you guys were right about just like all of the things leading up to that. Why do you have that look on your face?
Yeah, no, you're right. No,
But it was like there's a lot of talks and there's a lot of times when you'd be working and it was the middle of winter and you were like, what am I doing? I want a wife. And that's when you finally decided you were going to do something about it and you went to college. And I commend you for that. You and dad reached, a compromise, and he was like, get done with this trade school through Walmart and then save up. And I give you my full blessing. But you didn't go to the bars looking for a woman. You
no.
went where they were.
Yeah, well, that was the thing was, I won't even lie. I got made fun of a lot for going to college to get a woman because everybody said it wasn't going to work. But like, obviously, because that's another thing too, is a lot of guys, they sit around complaining about being single, but they don't actually go out and try. And so that was
Right.
my thing was I got sick of just sitting around waiting for one to magically show up.
Yeah.
So I knew they were all at the colleges, so that was where I went. And I didn't even get one from the college, but had I not gone to college, I wouldn't have met her brother because her brother went to the college. So even though I didn't get her from the college, I got her as a result of going to the college. So
the funny thing is, though, because of you going to that specific Bible college, though, it put into motion a bunch of other stuff in our life, even with our other kids with relationships.
yeah, both Jason and Abby wouldn't be in their relationships had I not gone to college too.
I know, which is hilarious because it is funny how one decision can affect so much of your life, right? And in this case, it was a good decision for you. And people are so down on Bible colleges. And I understand, yeah, they don't teach much doctrine. Yeah, kids are immature at Bible college, but there are good things that come from that too. So,
yeah, I will say, I feel like I learned some stuff at Bible college and all that. But like, I will say it was nice because I made a lot of friends that I'm still friends with now. Like, pretty much 80% of the friends I have now are friends I made while at Bible college. So I made a bunch of friends and then obviously met Jenna and everything. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not all bad.
no, it's not. And if you would have made some other decision to maybe go for a girl who wasn't Baptist or who hadn't been raised the same way as you or didn't have the same background as you, that could have started a whole different string of events. So that just goes to show you how important choices are that you make in your life. And you always were good at following, even though we had a lot of late night talks, you wanted to make your dad and I happy. And you have. You did that. You did our wishes, you went along with our wishes. And was it tough at times?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because my thing always was it was like I hated being single, but yeah, it was like I didn't know any girls at all. So that was why I was so depressed. 'Cause I was like the way, which Dad would always say, it'll change really quick.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, I went from meeting her to marrying her in 9 months. So yeah,
Yes. Your dad was right in that
it is
aspect.
crazy how much can change in just a year. So
It is. And then, like I said, that just started a whole different string of events for our entire family, where now we might have other, Jason's engaged to someone that he met through you because you were friends with Liz. You met her at college, correct?
yeah, me and her sat by each other in band and everything.
Yeah, because she plays the trumpet, right?
Yeah.
Which I always forget about. She needs to bring it and play it here because we are missing a trumpet player. Oh, that brings up another question. Someone said, someone asked, did I miss it?
Why I went here instead of there.
Yeah. Someone, yeah, that's because Jenna's dad is very convincing.
He is very convincing, but at the same time, too, it is true that I have noticed a lot of guys, they'll struggle in the first years of marriage with their wife being super homesick. So it is easier for the guy to move than it is for the girl. And not only that, there was a job down here that I wanted that I couldn't get up there. And now, especially where I'm at now at this job, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do now work wise if I would have stayed at home. So now with the job I have now, after I get some more experience under my belt, I could take it pretty much anywhere. Whereas where I was before, I couldn't have. So that was the two reasons I did it, was just because I thought it would be easier on Jenna if I moved here, and then also the job, because yeah, obviously I wouldn't be able to learn what I did here. What I did here. So
you had better job opportunities there, and now you got in at Caterpillar, which is a really good job in Illinois, if anyone knows a Caterpillar. And then now he's also trained to be a welder. So now he wants to get welding experience under his belt as well, which that can be something that he can take pretty much anywhere. Also, you didn't know the future. You didn't know what the future would bring. You didn't know if you would have a baby within the first few years, and a lot of girls struggle in becoming a role of a mom, and it's good to have family nearby. Right. So, but
plus it's not that far away. It's only like 3 hours away.
Yeah, 2.5 hours away.
It wasn't like I was moving halfway across the country or anything. So it was difficult moving away, but it wasn't that, like, it wasn't horrible.
Yep. And obviously you guys do a good job of visiting here every so often, spending the weekend.
One other reason, I guess, too, was one reason I kind of wanted to move down here for a while too was because of the fact that I like, as a kid I was in my grandpa's church, and then as an adult I was in dad's. So part of me wanted to go to a church where I wasn't related to any of the church, just kind of to see how I would react to it, just because I've always been in a church where all the staff was my family. So that was part of it too, was I kind of wanted to go to a church for a little bit where I'm not related to anybody in staff or anything like that.
I think that was an awesome experience. It has been an awesome experience for you, because I always kind of wanted to know too, how will my kids do if I'm not around? You know, as a mom, you're always, and my goal has been to raise you in a way that I don't have to be around, right? Like, you'll still make good choices when I'm not around.
And not only that too, it was like, because I felt like if I would stay at dad's church and then I would have like become in charge of some ministry or something, it wouldn't have felt like I earned it as much since dad's the pastor. So that's why I wanted to come here, to make sure I could do it here too. And which, the longer I've been here, like the more I do here too. Like now we're kind of like the, not assistant youth pastor, but like we go to all the teen stuff and we help with everything with that. And then we sing a lot in church. They have me take like pictures for everything at church and stuff. So like the longer we're here, the more responsibilities they give me, which is nice because it doesn't feel like it's just handed to me because dad's the pastor. So that was kind of part of the reason I wanted to do it too.
And most of the people at your church don't even know like who dad is or that he's a pastor. No. So that's not playing into it at all. It's because you're just there faithfully, which
I'll tell them my dad's a pastor and they'll be like, where? And I'll tell them where, and they'll be like, yeah, I never heard of that. Even though it's in Illinois, I just have to tell them the general vicinity it's at. So,
yeah. No, that's funny. So the adjustment was probably a little bit easier for you, Jenna, being the fact that you are still around your family and still your same church and everything. So yeah, but your dad did convince Isaac to move there too, and Samantha got married.
Yes. He said, my dad always said for at least 6 months, just so it gives you a little bit of time to like be married and just ease your way into it. And I think Isaac and Samantha are sticking more to the 6 months than we have, but
6 months.
Yeah.
He told me after a kid or two.
What?
Yeah. Well, no, he said
maybe he likes you better.
He's like, you gotta stay longer.
He said with him and your mom.
Yeah.
After they had a couple of kids, it was a lot easier because you're more cemented. So he didn't say, wait till you've had a couple of kids. He just said, in his experience, it was a lot easier after you've had a couple kids.
Okay.
He is right, though, because your dad and I being in the ministry, we have found that the first few kids is pretty tough on the woman if she's not around family, you know, and we've seen guys that have moved their families away from the wife's family in those first 5 years or so. And it's really tough on the woman. It's really tough on the girl. So I feel like it does kind of give you more of a solid footing if she's just around that help for the first few years. So just remember, if this thing goes far with Abby, I might be saying the same things to him.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to come move over here.
No, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't move away because I hated it there or anything. It was really hard to move away, actually. But
Yeah.
it was more just, I wanted to, I don't know. It was more of just like a curiosity thing. Like, what would happen if I went out on my own?
Yeah, you
And
wanted to, there's something in you, you want to forge your own path,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So
And that's totally fine. And you just, I think it's a way to prove to yourself too, these are my convictions or these are my standards, right? Not just I'm doing this because I'm in my dad's church or something. Because
yeah,
you pretty much haven't changed since you moved there. You're doing all the
no,
same stuff you
yeah,
would have done here.
nothing's changed at all, which I
Yeah.
didn't think it would. But at the same time, it's like it was more of, it was nice to kind of test myself in that area too.
Yeah.
Just to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Jenna, lastly, what would be your advice? I don't know if we touched on this. No, I think we're still pretty much talking Tommy, but what would be your advice for single girls that they're in that waiting stage? Like they've graduated high school and they're still living at home. What would be some advice for them?
So I was thinking about this a lot today. I have a couple. My main thought was patience. Like I feel like when I was fresh out of high school, I wanted to date immediately. I feel like I went a little boy crazy, and I was just like, I just want to date somebody.
That was him though, going girl crazy though at 18. Yeah. It's
you
it's
just get excited.
I was
like,
girl crazy at 7, all right?
you
It was just,
were.
at
was always
18, I
girl
was
crazy.
finally allowed to.
So
Yes.
definitely don't rush. Be patient. And then especially like if you as you get older, with me it was really hard. I was in multiple weddings as a single girl for 2 of my friends and my brother, who was younger than me, getting married before me. So that was hard to see these other people like living the life that I wanted. You just have to remember, I always hated when people always told me this, your timeline is not the same as everyone else's. You have to be patient. You know, God's story is the best. Just because you think you should have gotten married at 18 doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. So be patient, be content where you are. I feel like I had one more and I cannot think of what it was.
Well, you made a good point though, because
Tommy's making a face because he knows it's true about the timeline not being the same.
And one thing I've learned is even with the whole don't get a timeline in your head and get mad when it doesn't happen, even after you get married, the same thing happens then too.
We are still working on patience.
We wanted kids right off the bat too, but that still hasn't happened yet too. So not everything is going to go the way you plan. So
patience.
Tommy, you are a very impatient person.
Yeah, I know.
You are type A personality, very impatient. I've told you that since the time you were little, Tommy. You have to be patient, because you would make things happen. Like if you wanted it done, you're the firstborn, right? So you would make things happen. And I think you're starting to figure out, maybe God's trying to teach you this. I don't know. I think you're starting to figure out that some things are out of your hands.
I was just telling her this the other day. I was like, unfortunately, I think God's trying to teach me a lesson on patience. And I was like, I wish he would just teach me it already and go.
Right? Teach me, get it over with. I've learned. I can't say anything because I'm the same way. I am the most impatient person. I want things and I want them right now because this is what I want and I want it now. And I'm awful about being patient.
But so you guys were both a little bit older when you got married. Not much. I mean, 20 and 22. I think those are really good ages actually for marriage. Your dad and I were 20 when we got married. And I often say that we grew up together. And that we did in a way, but I think any earlier would have been too early for us. And we were both firstborns too in our family. But yeah, like Chanello said, godliness with contentment is great gain. And she said, makes sense about the girl, about you moving there. Thanks for explaining. Sounds great. Unless she has a toxic family situation, then it's better for the wife to move away with the husband.
Yes, don't worry. Absolutely. Jenna does not have a toxic family situation.
No.
The Tippets are great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think so too.
The only toxic one is Alex, but he's off at college. So
he's not.
He's talking to your sister and you're calling him toxic?
That's why he's toxic.
Because he's talking to your sister. That's why he's toxic.
That's why he's
doing it just to get back at me, I think.
That's funny. But yeah, well, thanks for the chat, guys. I don't think there's any more questions. I'll tell you if anyone puts any questions in the chat. I think we kind of covered most of it. We didn't really say much about the wedding, but I mean, it pretty much went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. It was easy.
You got a great first kiss.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
A great first dip. Really
first
bad
dip.
Second one. did
Really
not go
bad
as
second
well.
dip.
Great honeymoon. You went to Hawaii and got the bug
Yes,
planted
yeah.
in us for wanting to go to Hawaii.
Yep.
Love
So-
Hawaii.
And then very soon figured out how fun it is traveling with her,
Yeah.
which is why we've gone on like 49
Gotta go on
trips
all the trips.
since we got married.
Yeah, I actually haven't had to hear you complain about her like you do all your other travel companions.
Yeah, no,
Nice day.
well, yeah, no, we've got it down to a system.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
problem is I haven't figured out her brother's system for traveling yet either.
We
So
haven't. I don't know if we'll keep traveling with him. but,
no,
I mean, yeah.
I'm never
Probably
driving.
not.
I'm never driving 12 hours with her brother again. I'll tell you that much.
That was a mistake.
As long as he gets a nap, right? He's good as long as
No.
he gets a nap.
No,
Oh,
it was really bad. So,
oh, you're
Speaking
not.
of timelines, if the timeline of the trip doesn't go the way Alex plans, it ruins his day. I should
Yeah,
stop slandering Alex.
Yes,
Alex
you
is a good
should.
guy. Alex is a good guy, and he was
you just tell him
after
to
the first bullying, he was very chill about me dating Jenna, and he was in my wedding, and he is a great guy, and I actually don't have a problem with him dating Abby, and he's going to be the first tippet to actually graduate Bible college. So
He's very proud of it.
yeah, I've slandered Alex a lot, but yeah, I should say he is actually a great guy. He's just very fun to make fun of.
Yeah,
So that's-
Abigail said stop slandering Alex when he isn't here to defend himself.
Yeah. No, Alex is great. He's just very fun to make fun of because he takes it very funny.
Yeah.
So-
Alex, you're one of my best friends, so I have nothing to say about you. That's
Alex,
a joke
yeah.
going back. We're besties. So I have nothing to say about Alex.
If I actually had a problem with Alex, I wouldn't say anything about him. But no,
That's
yeah.
true. You don't tend to joke about things if it's actually true. That's
Yeah.
what I found. You tend to joke about things.
Alex is just as good as the other tippets. Not as good as Jeremy, obviously. But you know.
That's the
he's
golden
pretty-
child.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
And then-
Jeremy is the best.
Dad asked, how many states have you been to together?
A lot.
No idea.
Yeah, we'd have to count.
We've
For
been
anyone
collecting
that doesn't know, we are doing the Starbucks, what is it? Been There
Yeah.
series? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
And we're trying, what's the count now? We help each other out. So like if Dad and I go to a
I think we're at
state, we'll get them a
23.
cup.
3 states, but we have 3 countries.
22 or 23 states. So we're
I
almost
think
halfway
we're
there.
almost halfway there.
But
Doing
we haven't
really good.
been to all of those states though, because we've
Yeah.
teamed up. So
Yeah.
me and Jenna have probably been to like 15
Yeah.
or 20 states since we got married,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. We're trying to hit them all before we have kids,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is probably going to happen at this rate. But
For their track record.
You don't know
Yeah.
that. It could change fast, like Dad said.
maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
It could
Who
change
knows?
very, very fast.
We're hoping to we're hoping to get Alaska before we have a kid.
Yes, Alaska would be a fun.
Because that's we hit Hawaii, so Alaska's the hardest one after
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
we'll
Alaska's
probably do
tough.
Alaska this year for anniversary or
Fingers
something.
crossed.
Now, see, I'm like a firm believer with these cups. I want to have actually been there. I think all the ones that you've gotten from me, because Grandma traveled all the time when we were teenagers, so I've been to almost all the states in the U.S.
See-
There's just a select few I have not been to. I've been to 40 something, I think, but Alaska's going to be tough. And I told your dad we have to do an Alaskan cruise so I can get my Alaska cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. There's some states I have no intention of visiting. Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
I've never
Pretty
been
much
been
any of the
to
southern
Florida.
Like the
states.
southern
Yeah,
ones.
to
What's
go
your
to
problem? What's your
Florida.
beef
I
with the
don't-
I
South?
don't like the southern states. They don't appeal to me at all. I don't care about
Okay.
going to the Carolinas.
You just
Um,
like made
They're no fun.
you made half of my listeners haters now because I have a lot of
Yeah.
listeners in Florida and some in Louisiana. Louisiana's fine. It's just swamps.
Well, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the states. I'm just saying I don't want
He
to
doesn't
travel
wanna
there.
go there.
They're
Oh.
like the bottom of my list. Like
Oh, I
I'd much
see.
rather go like out west or to the northeast states.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's our goal for both of us as couples, like me and Dad. We want to get all the Been There series. It's something when your dad's actually buying us cups. when he
Yeah.
gets involved doing something, because he's usually against like any trend that's going on.
Yeah.
But he's totally invested in getting us our cups now. So any one of you out there listening, yeah, just I guess the prayer request for Tommy and Jenna would be they want a baby. Pray God gives them a baby. He doesn't have to keep teaching Tommy patience because
Yeah, I've learned my lesson already.
We've learned our lesson. We are patient.
Tommy's like, we're good now. So yeah, they do want a baby and they'll get one someday, whether that's through adoption or something. It'll happen. I'm not worried about it. We'll have grandkids one of these days. So pray for that. And then, I mean, you guys are you're making both your parents proud. So that's really all, we're not supposed to be proud, but well pleased, I guess, if you use the Bible term. It's really like you will understand it when you become parents one day, but like everything you do from the time that they're born till they become adults and start making these choices, it's for this. It's for seeing your kids like walk in truth and make good decisions and be happy, and I'm happy when I see you guys happy. So yeah. And then
don't worry. We do plan. I do want to visit Pennsylvania soon.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is cool because number one, it has the oldest, the oldest street in America, obviously, because things kind of started off over there. And it's still houses standing from the 1700s, which is pretty cool.
Well, I don't care about that. I want to see the Liberty Bell.
No, you need to go see Elrith. I think it's like Elrith Alley or something. It's a really cool little alley with like old colonial houses. And then
Wait,
yeah.
this might be a really stupid question. Where are the Rocky Steps at? Is that in Philadelphia? Or no,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania?
No, the Rocky, like where he runs up the steps. Yeah, it's there.
Oh,
it's there in Philadelphia.
I need to go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You would like to do that. You should go there next year when they do the run. And
Yeah, I saw
that.
That would be fun to do that half marathon. Yeah,
you would love doing that.
So yeah, speaking of, since she's watching, I just wanted to say that they moved up to like my top 5 favorite pastors couples ever after seeing they did that half marathon. So yeah. They moved way up the ranks. They're in the top tier now.
They're in the top 5 of favorite pastor couples ever.
Probably top 3.
That's
it'd be like you and Dad, my own pastor, and then
wow, they moved up there just from running a half marathon
I've never
together.
seen a pastor and his wife run a half marathon, so that my respect for him just skyrocketed.
Yep. I knew you guys. I knew you and Dad would love that when you saw that he posted about that.
Yeah.
So that's
They're
pretty
so cool.
Yeah. You're hilarious. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Don't click off yet, Tommy. I'm going to end things here. So any final words of wisdom before we leave?
None that aren't controversial.
Okay, then. Jenna, any from you?
Nothing that I can think of.
I was just going to say, don't be fat if you're a single guy.
He's going to go back to that again.
He's going to go back to the don't be fat if you're a single guy.
Okay. I'm not being fat phobic. This is just towards guys, okay?
Yes.
If you're a single guy, you have no reason to be out of shape. Yep. That's my final words on this.
It's true. You should have a lot of time as a single guy to, work on yourself at being better to earn that good girl or whatever. So, I mean, I kind of agree with you. That's your dad's training right there coming through because.
And that's why, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got this from Dad, so don't get mad at me. You get mad at Dad.
Get mad at him for teaching you to be better. All right. So thanks for joining in, everyone. This was Tommy and Jenna's big debut. Maybe we'll get you on here. But you did great, and your voice didn't completely go out. So, Tommy,
it does sound pretty bad.
It's rough, but you did really good.
Yeah, you did really good. It's not bad. So we will see you guys next week, and have a great week. So bye.